6 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Wednesday morning. Every once in a while, we'll hear about a conference or a convention where people who do the same thing all get together. And anytime I've ever gone to anything like this, it's interesting to be with people who do the same thing you do, whether it's radio or in our case, we do a lot of music. And you get together with people and you end up leaving the conference or the convention that you've learning something from somebody you met there that may not have been part of a scheduled seminar. You know, you just kind of run into people and learn things, and I guess that's a good thing because we become better at it. So once in a while, there's actually a product that comes out of those meetings, and we have a book here that looks like it is exactly that. The book is called Killer Nashville Noir. Cold-Blooded. It's edited by our guest, Clay Stafford, who is also one of the contributors to the book, as a matter of fact. He is himself an award-winning author, a screenwriter, a filmmaker, an editor. We went to one of those filmmaking things one time, and it was very interesting to hear filmmakers. We're not really filmmakers. We do have a video camera, but we're not really. But anyway, it was kind of fun to listen to them talk and to learn a few things anyway. I'm sure it was more for them than for us. He is one of the top 10 Nashville literary leaders. He's the founder of Killer Nashville. He's going to explain what that is in just a minute. The 10th anniversary of the Killer Nashville Writers Conference is also part of what we're talking about. And if you are an author, and I know we have a lot of listeners who happen to also be authors, and I know you love when we talk about this kind of subject, especially the conferences, if you haven't heard about it. So if this is your genre, this is a good time to pay attention because we'll cover that as well. Good morning, Clay Stafford. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Larry and Robin.
Where are you?
Here. You know what? I think is interesting because you said we're not filmmakers. I thought, well, my God, you guys are everything else.
Well, thanks for that. Well, we have a little camera, and yeah, we do a few things.
Well, if it's any consolation to you guys, I can't draw or paint. How's that?
Oh, there you go. There you go. Well, thank you. Where are you calling from? Are you in Nashville right now?
I am in Nashville right now.
We're gonna be in your state in a week. We're gonna be in Chattanooga.
Yep.
Okay. Well, are you really? Well, let me tell you. I would love for you to be in our state around Halloween with an Oompa surprise.
What kind of song?
And I'm being completely serious. I'm happy to give a donation to the Marion County Literacy Council.
Nice.
Well, you have done your homework. You have done your homework.
I love that.
But yeah, seriously. I mean, I'm not just blowing in the wind here.
So what would we do?
You guys come. I can get you a place, and we've got at the conference itself. We have several free drinking gatherings for writers and publishers and editors and agents, and would love to have you guys perform there with Sisters in Crime or Mystery Writers of America or any of that kind of stuff.
Where is the not where, but when? When is the conference?
It's the weekend of Halloween. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and
in Nashville.
In Nashville, and right downtown Nashville at the Omni Hotel, which is like this huge multi-story shopping mall-looking like thing. But we have around 500 guests per year who show up, and usually out of that batch, there's like about 150 to 200 writers.
What is the building that looks like it's from Batman? What is that building in Nashville?
Which one? The Batman? It's an AT&T.
Oh, that's AT&T.
Okay.
I've seen. I don't know if I've even seen it in person, but
everybody calls it the Bat Building, and I think it was the most clever thing they did because it's one of the things that sets the skyline off.
Yes. Oh, yes. If you can do something to set your skyline off, that's a good thing.
As a matter of fact, we in the Killer Nashville logo, we kind of even borrowed from that a bit, though we changed it up.
Really? I'm looking to see if I have it here. Well, thank you for being on the air with us. So tell me about this genre. Are
you saying, Larry, enough about you? Let's talk about me.
You are the person. We have to focus on you.
Yes,
this is our
absolutely. Absolutely.
Focus on you.
Yeah, so what is this genre? What kind of books are written in this genre?
It's mystery, thriller, suspense, and in that, I always kind of think for a mystery, it's like something happened, and what was it, and let's uncover that. For thriller, it's more somebody's about to get it. For suspense, it's usually like we think somebody may be about to get it, not quite sure, and so doing that, we cover pretty much everything from romantic suspense on one side all the way through traditional thrillers and all of the subgenres associated with that. But even we have a Killer Nashville magazine, which is online free for everybody around the globe, and we basically review books from the mystery, the romantic suspense of the traditional, all the way over to horror, sci-fi, fantasy. As long as they have those elements of mystery, thriller, suspense, they pretty much fall into it. And I always say that the mystery, thriller, suspense is pretty much the branding side of it. But as you guys know from your own careers and stuff, probably about 95% of everything discussed can be applicable to just about any genre that you're looking at, because a good character is a good character, a good plot's a good plot. You get it. So
you're a filmmaker as well, and
I am.
So I have a question about writing a short story like the one you've in the book here, that all of you have put in the book. Is it a challenge for you? See, now in our world we write songs, so when we have to write something long, that's a challenge. But is it a challenge when
I don't know, Mr. Don McLean.
But when you write something long, is it? I mean, normally, is it a challenge to write a short story like that?
Mm-hmm. I think and this is convoluted, and I don't want to sound like some sort of voodoo whatever, but I think it really depends. I think the story, the idea itself, really presents, and some writers tend to think really in long, complicated processes. And in that case, you're going to come out with a novel. But sometimes there is just a slice of life or a little twist that just intrigues you. And there's really not enough there to make, a full 300 pages. So you kind of just start writing that, and it may come out to be 5,000 words, or it may come out to be 12,000 words, which still falls into that kind of short story parameter. And I think it's really the idea itself, not so much. And some people, as I say, their minds think more long, and then we've got some people who really just are incredibly, it's like poetry. They put a whole lot into just a short amount of space, and those guys are the incredible short story writers. And then some kind of just go back and forth,
Since you are the editor of the whole book and you've compiled all of the stories and everything, did you also edit the individual stories, or was that left up to the authors?
Yes, well, I did, and that's the thing that just kind of, some of these people in here, like Donald Bain, who's famous Murder, She Wrote, Ann Perry, who's got an incredible body of work that goes on forever. Haywood Gould, who I used to hang out with back when we were both much younger men on the Universal lot, because I was worked at Universal and he was a filmmaker there. And all these people were kind of like, people who inspired me to do something. What I'm doing. And so when I called and said, hey, I'm putting this together, you guys are Killer Nashville alumni, because we've got about 400 authors who are Killer Nashville alumni, and I said,
gosh.
Yeah, and first of all, the whole process, I got stories from, everybody's been so generous. Killer Nashville is really, if I can digress for a moment.
Oh, certainly.
This is turning into a novel. But we have the Killer Nashville, one of the things about it, we kind of try to hone into that Southern hospitality thing, and it's the Quincy Jones things where everybody just kind of leaves your ego at the door and you come in. So everybody who comes to Killer Nashville, it's an opportunity to give back, and that's how I always tell everybody, if you've accomplished something, you didn't do it yourself. Somebody helped you.
Good stuff.
So all of these people come in with the idea of giving back, and so you're actually there in the midst of that, trading cell numbers with these best-selling authors, agents, publishers, and we also have a forensics track, which is really cool.
Oh, my.
Yeah, and so I always call it the alphabet. So we leave money laying out on the table like the registration desk. People say, aren't you, the volunteers, aren't you afraid somebody's going to do this? Absolutely not.
So
There's more heat in this building than there is anywhere else. But, yeah, we've got FBI, TBI, agents, Secret Service. Everybody is there, and they have sessions and panels where they're talking about, because one of their things is, they would like, in any profession, you look in there and you read a book and you go, oh man, that really wouldn't happen, because I'm an accountant, and this is a thing about accounting.
Oh, right.
That wouldn't happen, Yeah. Well, it's especially true with like police officers, and
I bet, yeah.
You cannot get a DNA report back the next day and then solve the crime. So these people come and try to educate these writers, and we've got New York Times best-selling writers, international writers, who come every year and just sit in those classes learning the latest innovative techniques. and then applying it to try to make it right. And the agencies, the law enforcement, legal, they come because they want to see their professions portrayed correctly. And so it's a symbiotic relationship between the two. So we've got all these people coming in. So 10 years ago I had an idea to throw a party. So I am getting back to your original question. So we decided to have this big party. Just let me know when we need to go to commercial break. We had this big party.
You're too
party.
fun.
All right, crank. And when we go, be sure we crank out the accordion there to kind of.
Oh my goodness! You're just not comfortable. You're just not comfortable. You're not comfortable being the
accordion. By the way, Larry, I have an accordion, so we get you come to Killer Nashville. We'll exchange some chops here.
All right, Clay. Let me ask you if we could just put you on hold just for a second here. Let's take that break that Clay suggested we take, because we do have to take one, and then we'll be right back. This is WOCA Ocala. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. For today, times of clouds and sunshine with an afternoon thunderstorm in spots. The high 84 to 88. Partly cloudy tonight. There can be a shower or thunderstorm in places along the coast. The low 70 to 74. For tomorrow, more clouds and sun with a couple of showers and thunderstorms in the area. The high 83 to 87. On Friday, times of sun and clouds with a thunderstorm around during the late morning and afternoon hours. The high 84 to 88. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Chip, I know we made believers out of those who thought there was no such thing as a free ride. No interest on most new Fords for 72 months? Well, Ford Lincoln of Ocala and Village Ford of Bellevue is sweetening that terrific deal even more.
Really?
How about free fuel for a year?
Free fuel for a year?
Simply visit FordofOcala.com or MyVillageFord.com. Schedule a test drive of any vehicle on the lot, and you become automatically eligible to be chosen to receive free fuel for a year.
That's just another great reason to shop for your next car, truck, SUV, or crossover at Ford Lincoln of Ocala or Village Ford of Bellevue.
Aside from being eligible to receive free fuel for a year, the very best reason to buy from Ford Lincoln of Ocala or Village Ford of Bellevue is the service, the selection, and of course, the price.
That's right. You don't have to wait for a holiday or, quote, sales event at Ford Lincoln of Ocala or Village Ford of Bellevue. Every day's a sale day.
Where have I heard that before?
Fuel for a year eligibility requires valid licensed driver over 21. One entry per person per household. Must complete test drive. Fuel for a year winner will receive preset amount of $1,200 in the form of a service station debit card. See dealer for complete details.
Central Florida Eye Institute is the area's leader in laser vision correction. From high-definition refraction surgery and LASIK vision correction to custom cataract, glaucoma, and diabetic treatment, you can count on Dr. Crowley and his effective, friendly staff to provide you with the quality care you deserve. Call 352-237-8400 for an appointment or more information. That number again is 352-237-8400. Looking forward to service your vision needs.
This is James Snyder, inviting you to join me each Sunday morning at 9:30 for Sunday Joy on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM.
Central Florida Eye Institute is the area's leader in laser vision correction. From high-definition refraction surgery and LASIK vision correction to custom cataract, glaucoma, and diabetic treatment, you can count on Dr. Crowley and his effective, friendly staff to provide you with the quality care you deserve. Call 352-237-8400 for an appointment or more information. That number again is 352-237-8400. Looking forward to service your vision needs.
Putting the local back into radio. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. WOCA News. Variety. Information. Now. Keep your arms and legs on the inside at all times.
WOCA. All right, 20 minutes after 10 o'clock. Before we continue our interview, I have to thank our sponsor, Dr. Thomas Crowley. He's with the Central Florida Eye Institute. He's a board-certified ophthalmologist, and he is sponsoring this portion of AM Ocala Live, so be sure to thank him for that. And remember, the Central Florida Eye Institute is your place to go for all of your eye care needs, whether it's something as basic as getting eyeglasses and an eye examination, or something as detailed as diabetic eye treatments or laser surgery or glaucoma treatments. They take care of all of that at at the Central Florida Eye Institute. They're located not far from where we broadcast, actually, next to the mall, sort of kind of like catty corner, on the Sears side. They're not in the mall, but they're across the parking lot there. The address is 3133 Southwest 32nd Avenue here in Ocala, and the phone number is 237-8400. The website, centralfloridaeye.com. Dr. Thomas Crowley, Central Florida Eye Institute, thank you for sponsoring this portion of AM Ocala Live.
Yes.
And we are speaking to Clay Stafford. He's up in Nashville. He's talking about the book Killer Nashville Noir, which is an anthology of mystery and horror short stories by a number of authors, including Clay. He's one of the authors. And it sounds like this is also about the conference that nets this kind of work, right?
Yes.
The Gathering up in Nashville, which I guess is coming up in on Halloween. So Clay, is this a competition in any way? Are there some people who didn't cut the grade who are not in the book?
No, and actually, you know, these are all like, and getting back to your original question from 20 minutes ago, these are all really like really good writers, and so it was really hard for me how it all worked. I contacted all these people who've been so generous over the past 10 years, and they sent in manuscripts. So like I said, we got about 400 alumni, and so I got all these manuscripts in, and they were all good, and so I just kind of thought thematically, how are we going to work this out, and just pulled, and unfortunately I could only pull 20 out of it. So I pulled the 20 I thought worked thematically, and I've asked the authors, I say, what about, because this is an annual, and this is the first of an annual event. And so I asked them, I said, can I hold them over for next year? And pretty much everybody said, yeah, please do, because there's just some incredible stories in there. But what I was going to say earlier is all of these people that I grew up reading and were like, you know, that influenced me and made me want to be a writer, they send me these manuscripts, and so then I feel this audaciousness of taking a red pen and going through, which is what happened, and I think, who in the world are you? Don't you realize you're about to edit Ann Perry?
Oh my gosh.
and I would go through and I'd mark little notes and say, I'm really involved in all the editing stuff that I do, and so I marked little things and said, do you think maybe we could work in some motivation here, or do you think maybe the character, is this really what this character would do? You know, and I wrote all over these, like, you know, it looks like the page was bleeding. So we sent it, and you know, every single one of them wrote back and said, thank you so much for going through that. And so it became a collaborative process. Of course, these stories are all these authors, but it's just me being one of the old-time editors, reading.
And I love hearing that, because what it sounds like to me, I mean, this is what I always suspect. I always suspect that people who are really good at writing are also really good at respecting editors, a good editor, because a good editor will truly make you a better writer, just like a good music producer would make you a better musician. You know, it kind of works hand in hand.
It actually does, and I had the good fortune of working with Amblin Studio and Steven Spielberg back in the mid '80s, and that was about the time period a little bit before the Jaws came out.
Oh,
and there's that story about, you know, how he shot all of it, and then they put it together the way it was supposed to be put together, and it really didn't work. And the editor came in and said, what if we, instead of just making a linear story, why don't we bring in that threat element of that shark? And so you have all those scenes where you go boom, 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 you know, and that's what made the film. And so in the end, I mean, just using that as an example, all your listeners are aware of, a good editor is indispensable. And unfortunately, the way, you know, business runs, everybody's overworked, and you know how it works. Not all editors have the luxury of just actually sitting down and looking through line by line, word by word, and going, is this really conveying exactly what we want in this particular scene?
So who do you
When it happens, it's great.
As a writer and a filmmaker, too, I mean, you must have somebody who also serves as an editor for the work you do, for your original stuff.
I have a whole team, and I'm always happy to applaud and give accolades to them because they saved me numerous times. And it's amazing. No matter how much you do this, you always think the woman's wearing the red dress, but then she wears a blue dress, and then it's black, and then she comes back to red again, and you wonder what's happening. Is she she's got a chameleon dress? That's amazing. And so yes, I rely and I value all of the people looking. I really think you need that second pair of eyes and brains to be able to
By the way, that color changing dress I think is an upcoming product from the Apple company. I think
that's right.
I think it's the eye dress.
My son was showing me this thing where he says, "Do you see I can't remember the colors. It's like, do you see a blue dress or do you see a green dress?"
Oh yeah.
First of all, I don't know.
I wasn't sure either.
One of the wonderful things that you do with everybody that you have on your team and also the people that you meet at the conference is that air of respect, because everybody respects everybody else, and they're not afraid to have questions of their own because they value what the answers are going to be.
Correct, and we also one of the things, we've got four missions. Basically, it's to connect writers with other writers, because it's great to know how you're kind of living in a vacuum, and it's nice to know how other people are doing things. But we also want to connect writers, very important, especially in later stages of their career, with new readers, because everybody always wants to grow the readership. But then we also want to connect people with information, which is where the forensic panels come in, and then we also want to connect them with people in the industry that can, and everybody needs help, because even if you're a best-selling author, there's always one more reader out there you want to reach. But then we've got also people who come in that have no idea. They have an idea, but that's about as far as they go. This lady, one story. We've got about several hundred success stories over the past 10 years, and we've gotten people, agents, editors, publishers, movie deals, and we make nothing off of it.
Wow.
Absolutely nothing. This is a totally volunteer-run organization. About 60 volunteers show up every year to do this. People schedule their work vacations to come and work with our writers and help our writers, rather than taking a trip to down to Florida.
If you're ever here, you have to come in. So, let me make.
But it amazes me. It amazes me every year how much people are giving, and I think that's what it's all about. When we have these agents, editors, publishers, if you're not hungry and wanting a new writer, then this is really not the place. Because when you come here, we expect these writers who are coming in with ideas and new unpublished manuscripts to be able to find people who can actually say, yeah, I want that, and I'm going to take that. We've had, and they've come about in the most odd forms. This one lady went through all the pitch sessions. Back when we were doing pitches, we do roundtables now, which is much better. But back
wonderful!
It's like speed dating back earlier several years ago,
Right.
And it wasn't good for the people getting pitched to, nor the people pitching. But the roundtables are more conversation. But this one lady went through all this pitching session, and nobody liked her idea, and she was sitting distraught, feeling like I really am in the wrong. I have wrong ambitions. And she's sitting there in the bar, and one of our other big authors came and sat down beside and said, "Hey, are you here for the conference?" And she told her story, and he said, "Well, you pitch me your story here in the bar." And she's had a few drinks, and so she tells the story, and it's this passionate story, and he says, "You wait right here." He went and got his editor, brought his editor to the bar, and he said, "Tell her exactly what you told me."
Oh, wow. Clay, we're out of time. Thank you so much for being on the air. Give us a website before we run completely out of time. What's a good website?
Yeah, just go to killernashville.com, and it will lead you everywhere.
All right. Excellent. I loved your enthusiasm, Clay, and I wanted to read the first paragraph of your story. I'll have to let the listeners do that. Trust me, Marines could float if you're ready. Thank you, Clay.
Fox News Radio, I'm Liliana. A crowd of thousands on hand as President Obama welcomes Pope Francis to the White House after remarks the Pope and the President holding meetings this